Good evening and welcome. This is 40 Days Ministries Bible Study number 228 on February 17th, 2026. This is our 104th study in the Matthew series. We're going to continue looking at the Matthew chapter 8 section, verses 28 to 34. As we continue looking at this, we're going to share more of the discoveries of the demonic behavior and the desire by the pigs. In verse 31, the demons begged him, the desire by the demons, where the demons begged him, if you cast us out, send us away to the herd of pigs. That desire shows that demons are homeless and desperate. It's supported by Jesus' words in Matthew chapter 12, verses 43 to 45. If we check it out here. Jesus here is saying that demons that are cast out go into arid places, seeking rest and finding none. That's literally what he says here. It goes through waterless places, seeking rest but finding none. Demons will go searching because they're looking for a place. And in this passage of scripture, Jesus said they will return and they will bring other spirits more evil than itself. They'll bring stronger spirits, stronger friends, if you will. That is support for our conclusion here that demons are desperate for a place to go, so desperate that they didn't even ask to go to a person, they asked to go to a herd of pigs. I note for you that the interlinear, when we look at this, the demons, noun, nominative, masculine, plural. Demons, for all account and purposes, are male as far as spirits go. Now, they're asked to go into pigs. There are a few questions that may be raised in this piece of the account, this tiny part, where they ask, send us away into the pigs. Why were pigs in Israel? Why did the demons ask to go into them? Why do Mark and Luke seem to disagree? I'll show you where they disagree. This is Mark here. And somebody said, wait, they seem to disagree? Yeah. If we look at the cross-reference verses, we'd pick that up. Now, we address the demon's request and their reason for the request. So let's deal with the rest of the account, starting with these questions. Mark and Luke refer to this. Sorry, let's look at Matthew first. Now, a herd of many pigs were feeding at some distance. There we go. Now, a great herd of pigs was feeding there on the hillside. And Luke's version, a large herd of pigs was feeding there on the hillside. We see there on the hillside, but here Matthew tells us at some distance from them. So there is an apparent disagreement in terms of the distance. Just to make it clear, the Hebrew word used in Mark and Luke. Mark and Luke feeding there on the hillside. And once again, I'm showing this to you again because I don't want you, to doubt. Feeding there on the hillside. It makes it sound like it's close. Mark and Luke make it sound like it's close, but Matthew is very clear when Matthew says, at some distance from them. The Greek in the original here was eke. Eke. Eke means thither or yonder to describe the distance. Some folks would look at it and say the conflict exists because It is, but thither or yonder, Eke, according to Mark and Luke, stands up as meaning the same as Matthew's, a great distance. Because if the genealogies and the difference between the genealogies in Matthew and Luke stood up to Jewish traditional scrutiny, and they don't mess around, I couldn't understand why people would gripe about this. Thither, yonder, I could see it, but it's not like right next to me. This doesn't appear to be any inconsistency as far as I'm concerned, so I'm not going to waste any more time on a discrepancy that doesn't exist. But I've brought it up, not just to bring it up. I brought it up to you that sometimes people will nitpick over things that don't need any nitpicking. And you have to look out for it. All right? They were within view because the references to pigs that they could see. Behold, right? The whole herd rushed down. That means people would have seen the herd rushing. The demons referred to the herd of pigs because it was known the herd was there. It wasn't, well, we don't guess it was there, we could see it. So they could be seen at a distance, right? They were within view, but not likely within scent. Pigs are kind of gross smelling. Because they were on a hillside, according to Mark and Luke, the distance would allow us to see them, and the smell would not come in to wherever they were, where the town was. Even when cold air fell into lower areas and trapped whatever smells would be there, it wouldn't reach them and stay with them. Keeping of the pigs, though, might be a topic for questions. So, possible reasons for the pigs being there. They may have kept the pigs to feed the Romans, who ate pork. The Roman soldiers and officials, they would have eaten it. Some Jews were disobedient to the law when money was there to be made. So money making was more important. Those Jews might have kept the pigs. Maybe there were Gentiles in the area and the Gentiles kept pigs. All that's possible. Did you all notice they asked for permission? If you cast us out, send us into the herd of pigs. It's ironic and it's insulting to everything that's unholy. The original rebels against God, the demons, are portrayed as fearsome and vicious. But most of all, they are perceived as being powerful. Yet, here we see them begging to possess pigs. They're desperate. Their rebellion is so powerless that they have to ask God for permission on how to rebel. It's like they're saying, we hate you, God, and we hate your dust creatures, but please don't hurt us. And while we're here, may we get into some more grimy and smelly things because we know you want us out of these two men. Their request led to more disappointment for them because they went to the pigs and the pigs drowned. It's so funny that they have to ask permission to do wrong before they do it, which makes us, by the way, now let's get to us. It makes us look dumber. We don't ask God for permission to do wrong. Why does that make us dumber? We are so disconnected from reality that we don't see eternity. We don't see the consequences of sin as a big deal. So we do as we please. Demons, literal demons, ask God permission. Can I do this? I want to be bad, but can I do this? God can't stop me. I want to do what I want to do. We do. Sometimes it's worse. We don't even consider God when we're going to do wrong things as human beings. Now, the demons see this and they use us to take out their frustrations and live out their ungodly and rebellious fantasies. That's why they influence us. There's a good reason why eternal damnation is just. Demons deserve eternal damnation and they still ask permission to do wrong. Humans don't. We absolutely deserve eternal damnation. Don't let anybody come to you and say, well, what if a man lives a good life? There is no such thing as a good life if your heart is not a heart after God. You are not doing a good thing for God's sake, for good purpose. You are doing a good thing for corrupt purpose. That's the heart of man when that heart has not been reborn, converted, convicted, regenerated. The worst demons ask permission to do wrong, while the best of humans don't. Let that sink in. How disgusting is the unrepentant man who defies God by ignoring him? The demon's reasoning for going into the pigs isn't given, but commentators speculate. I'm going to give you some speculations here. Not many. They speculated it was because the unclean choose the unclean. I disagree with this. We can't say if they like pigs over cows over geese. They went into pigs, and pigs were an unclean animal for Jewish ceremonial purpose. Pigs, as a ceremonially unclean animal, are unlikely to attract demon attention more than any ceremonially acceptable beast. So it's not that they chose an unclean animal because they were unclean. They just chose what was available. That's my personal belief. They have a wanton desire for destruction. This is the other reason the commentators give. So they could still get to destroy something. That's why they chose to ask to go to the pigs. They knew they were going to kill the pigs. I disagree with this because I don't think they were hoping for a short-term possession for a momentary fling. If they wanted the joy of instant destruction, they could have destroyed the hosts, or at least hurt the hosts quickly and bailed in a hurry. They sat comfortably in the possessed men for a fair bit of time, and that would have been for weeks or months, who knows, before this. So what I believe is they were seeking another comfortable place to inhabit, even if it wasn't nice. They were seeking another place they could get comfortable in. They were not looking for a vacation spot. Let's just, okay, in their heads, we were living comfortably, tormenting these men. It was so much fun. Here comes Jesus. Oh no, we are afraid, terrified. We're not going to get sent to the abyss. Let's ask not to get sent to the abyss. We would need something else to take over this joy that we had so we could go live in the pigs. I believe they wanted to go and stay in the pigs for some time. Third reason the commentators give, they knew the pigs would be destroyed, and that would cause the people to turn against Jesus. I disagree with that too. I suspect they were high, like on drugs high, the demons. The demons would have been high off of the joy that they got tormenting these men in the neighborhood. They were high and unthinking in that moment due to the comfort of parasiting in the host, and then that being totally turned upside down with the sudden fear of the approaching God. I don't think they knew the pigs would have been destroyed, and I don't think they were strategically thinking so that they could say, well, we can't do this with these guys. Let's go destroy the pigs. Let's ask to go destroy the pigs. We could destroy the pigs. Because it would not have been a big loss. It really would not have been a big loss. So I don't think they wanted to destroy the pigs so that the people will turn against Jesus. They were used by Jesus. This is the fourth one that the commentators said. The demons were used by Jesus to punish the people of the village for their own disobedience. I disagree with this one as well. Because Jesus didn't punish people on this mission to preach, die, resurrect, and ascend. At no point in Jesus' ministry did he punish people like that. He drove moneylenders out of the temple with a whip. But that wasn't punishing people. That was cleansing the temple. Jesus wasn't cleansing the hillside by getting rid of the pigs. We don't know that hill, those hills weren't, sacred. I personally, my take on it now, I suspect the demons were hoping for similar physical stimulation and interaction. They got that from possessing the men, and since demons can't interact with the physical world unless they get express permission to do so, they were hoping to get the same thing with the pigs. You see, they love physicality, deep stuff. That's why they bred with women and made Nephilim. Nephilim are the giants back in the day. This supports my theory that they possessed men in order to breed with women. That's not my theory, like I created it, but it supports my belief in that theory. Other people had that theory, and I was like, that makes sense. They would have possessed men to sleep with the woman to get the woman pregnant. No angel is likely able to physically get a woman pregnant, right? Because of that, many of them got sent to the abyss. Legion here was deeply rooted in the physical ecstasy of abusing the men and abusing their neighbors. Demons like isolating people, both the possessed and their victims. So they enjoyed isolating the men. They enjoyed the victims hiding. Unfortunately, the pigs couldn't take it because the pigs are not made in the image of God to have souls. So the pigs killed themselves trying to escape the abusive presence. Expositor's Greek Testament states it well, as they said that Jesus' response wasn't so much a yes as it was a be gone. Mark tells us that about 2,000 of them, if you go to Mark, let me show you. The unclean spirits came out and entered the pigs, and the herd, numbering about 2,000, rushed down the steep bank into the sea and drowned in the sea. Note this sea is a lake, not like the ocean, okay? Benson mentioned two guys, McKnight and Doddridge. We met Doddridge and McKnight before. They were saying that this wasn't a pretend dispossession. And I didn't think about that before. There are many who will show pretend dispossessions because the devil is a liar and his kids are liars. False conversions, false proclamations of faith, false dispossessions, removing possessed people from being possessed. All of those are demonically influenced. Think of how many people backslide because they were pretenders all along. They didn't backslide. You were faking. You weren't saved. We are not above being fooled. So don't beat yourself up if someone deceived you into thinking he or she was a child of God. I was literally talking about this last night in a conversation in Zoom walk. We cannot tell for sure if a person is saved. We can judge them, test the spirits. We have tested spirits. But some people are deceptive. And when we see the spirits tested, in our view, man sees with the eyes, natural eyes, he sees what's in front of him. But man can't see the heart. And a truly deceptive and wicked person can fool most people, myself included. I get fooled all the time. I get disappointed in people when I get fooled. Not disappointed in me, disappointed in people. Because when a person pretends to be saved and he or she fools one of us or whatever, it's sad for them, not for us, because we want to trust and serve, right? Now, I tell you, don't beat yourself up if you're fooled. That's why we must be patient and obey God in relationships. A person can fool you only for a time. The truth will come out and set us free from doubts about whether a person is saved, or set us free from being yoked with wickedness. So many people out there can be true, but you'll doubt them because you can't trust people. And over time, testing the spirits, you will see that person is true. It will remove the doubt. Some people, though, are wicked, but very deceptive. And over time, their wickedness will surface and you will see it. Some of us like to be blind to it, though. That's the reality. Some of us, sorry, we see a lot of ungodly behavior in a person, unrepentant behavior worse. But because we like the person, or it's a friend from years ago, or family, we refuse sometimes to see this person is not a child of God. Stay far. Now we note here something simple, but it needs to be said. The men were not among the pigs rushing into the sea or the lake. John Gill brought up a good point that the demons could not have put sins of men into the pigs. I'll get to that. Check this out. As we read it, and the demons begged him, saying, "If you cast us out, send us away into the herd of pigs." And he said to them, "Go." So they came out and went into the pigs, and behold, the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the sea and drowned in the waters. Pride, covetousness, uncleanness, envy, malice, cruelty, etc. A list by John Gill himself. That didn't kill the pigs. They didn't rush down, "Oh, I'm proud as a pig, I'm going to die. I'm covetous as a pig, let me run into the water. I'm unclean as a pig, let me run to the water. I'm envious, let me run to the water." No. Men may be influenced by demons in many things: pride, malice, covetousness, etc. But the sins of men are their own. Demons can't put sin in us. Demons didn't put sin into the pigs to kill them. Hence, demons can't put sin in us. No envy drove a pig to kill itself. We are the authors of our own sins. No devil made me do it excuses. Those animals cannot endure evil spirits, but men can tolerate and endure such possessions, which shows the simplicity of the animal mind versus the depth of the humans. We not only endure the demons, we welcome them, and we hold on to the demonic control, because listening to God's way is not as much niceness to us. I know this person is terrible or that person is terrible because he or she has shown a desire for sin. But the devil will tell you, that's okay. They will change. That's okay. You could put up with that. That's okay. Other people have flaws too. And that's why we stay friends, or in relationships like boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. That's why we stay close to relatives and friends and seek counsel of the ungodly when we shouldn't. Small point here that many people will overlook. I've never heard this one. Pigs are natural swimmers. I thought about this and I looked it up. They are aided in their swimming by buoyancy of their fat. Pigs float well. This wasn't a drowning of a herd of animals that couldn't swim. I never thought about that until today. No, none of the commentators gave me this. This is one of my own. I'm taking full credit for this one. Pigs would float well enough without even trying. What killed them was the demonic frenzy. The demons attacking their minds killed them. I don't know how many people out there would have preached this point, but here at 40 Days Ministries, we try not to miss important things that give glory to God's word. So glory to God, that a very simple point in this. A herd of pigs drowned because of demon possession shows that even though the natural world, pigs really can't drown, demons drove them to it because they couldn't handle the frenzy and craziness of the demonic chaos in their heads. It's likely that Jesus didn't anticipate the response of the pigs in his restricted state being fully man at this time. I'm not saying Jesus doesn't know everything. Jesus does. He's God, he's all-knowing. But in his role at this point, Jesus had human frailties. So he restricted himself. So it's unlikely he anticipated that the pigs would have responded like that. It's an example to us that God's will be done means we must prepare for outrageous outcomes when we exercise faith. These outcomes may be unpleasant or even dangerous for us, but we must not shy away from performing our duties for God. In the event Jesus did know it would happen, I guess he did not think the loss of the pigs would have been important enough to leave the men in distress and say, well, I can't let the pigs die. You guys have to stay demon possessed. Human lives are very important to God. Bengel listed some benefits to the locale. He did a summary of this. Jesus made travel on the road safe because the vicious men were no longer possessed. He removed troublesome spirits from the town. He freed possessed men. And he cleared out the presence of an unwanted, unclean animal. Bengel also said that unlike the animals, men survive extended periods of demon possession. Sorry, something on the screen. And Bengel considered that the fact that men can survive an extended period of demon possession without running straight to kill yourself as you get possessed, that is a special mercy from God. Matthew Poole calls on herdsmen, like in general out there, people with animals, to be grateful to God that this doesn't happen to their animals, because it's obviously possible. I never considered that. Demons could go and possess whole herds of cattle or entire broods of chickens and wipe them out. And where would we be as a society? Huge numbers of animals reared for human purpose are at risk of demonic possession if God allows. Again, this indirectly supports my theory of God's restraining hand on all things to keep them from becoming feral or depraved. Demons, men, and animals are all held back by God from becoming as destructive as their basic natures would let them. He holds demons back. They have to get permission. And he holds everything else back too, including us. I should stop here. I will stop here. All right. I have a little bit more. I have at least almost a page of stuff done, but I'll leave that for next time. Hopefully we'll be able to close this up. I hope, folks, that this very short Bible study was helpful to you in looking at this passage of scripture. And this would be our second. Next week will be our third session doing this passage of 28 to 34. But by God's grace, we don't want to rush through. I don't want to shortcut you. Okay? This was our 228th Bible study session at 40 Days Ministries. We are looking at Matthew chapter 8, verses 28 to 34, our 104th in the Matthew series. Thank you for joining us here on February 17th, 2026. God's blessings, favor, and peace be to you all. Thank you to our live audience. Thank you to those who are watching on our videos. Take care and goodbye.